it's not that I'm sexually attracted to Aretha Franklin, but like I've thought about her, you know?
We're rolling, Brian.
Oh. Hey, Internet.
I'm Greg.
I'm Brian.
And we are D-minus chats.
We are. That's a thing we are.
Yeah, D-minus chats.
Who we are.
I'm not doing that again.
On the internet.
On the internet. We're gonna review an album.
We are. But first, we listen to a lot of music, so you must have been listening to music today. What were you listening to?
I was listening to Elvis Presley.
Nice.
I totally
Excellent.
was. I was listening to the Sun Sessions.
Oh, perfect.
Which are if you consider yourself a rock and roll fan, but you don't like if you haven't heard that album and heard his early work from blues transitioning into rock, then yo, you're fucked up. Like fuck you, you know? Like it's hella adjective. What'd you listen to today?
Cream.
Nice.
Cream,
oh,
yes.
in memory of Jack Bruce?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. When I was learning bass guitar when I was like 13 or 14, I was listening to a lot of Cream and Jack Bruce. When I would listen to Cream, Jack Bruce would say, "Hey Brian, you see those like higher strings and frets? Like you can do a lot of fills up there, and people will like that." And I'll say, "Hey, thanks, Jack Bruce," and he would say like, "You're welcome."
What a guy.
None of that actually happened though, but that's called like
a psychosis when you imagine someone's talking to. Are you talking to some? I'm sorry. Continue.
I was gonna say inspiration, like drawing influence from.
That has a much more positive connotation than the word I use.
Well, the album Disraeli Gears by Cream.
That's a great one. Okay, cool.
Excellent. Great. Very good. Let's get down to it,
Let's get down to it, yo.
Okay, so the band is Primus.
The band is Primus.
Who the hell is Primus?
Where are they from? What state?
Somewhere
weird.
Washington?
Are they?
Washington
What album is it?
We don't need the peanut gallery. Primus and the Chocolate Factory.
Which was initially marketed as a concept album that was Willy Wonka inspired. And I read that and I was like, excellent, because Willy Wonka is a movie I grew up with. I mean, I absolutely love it. Gene Wilder's fantastic. They shout out Gene Wilder on the liner notes.
Oh, they should.
Yeah,
they should. He's in Young Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm. So when I heard a concept album, I first thought like, okay, they wrote new songs that are about.
The camera fucked up. We're bad. It's Primus though.
We're back.
We are.
Now we're back now. So Primus has this concept album. It's Willy Wonka inspired.
Right, yes.
So I heard concept album and I was thinking, okay, so they wrote new songs about the story of Willy Wonka and everything.
Oh.
No, they didn't do that.
Oh, okay, my bad.
They just covered the soundtrack.
It did. Which sucks. It sucks that they did that. Okay, wait.
Alright, so now that we're back into it,
yes.
Can you describe who Primus is?
Okay, Primus is a band that if you go into listening to a Primus, if you pick up Sailing the Seas of Cheese and you're like, well, Primus, these guys, whoa, wow, you know, you go back and listen to the Residents album Duck Stab. Just do that, because that is a template for everything that Primus really is. I mean, yeah, Primus is good at their instruments, which is different, and they like actually know how to compose a fucking like substantial song, unlike the Residents, but most of their experimentation comes directly from the Residents.
So the Residents are like an avant-garde.
Yeah,
band
they're an avant-garde weirdo, like outsider music sort of
from New York City is where they're from.
Louisiana. They're totally
really?
from Louisiana, yeah.
Oh.
They moved from Louisiana to California.
Oh,
Yeah, what?
Oh, I was thinking of the Velvet Underground, because they both suck.
That's not...
Oh, what? You like them?
They're
you
fine.
Like Lou Reed now?
They're fine. I like Sonic Youth.
Alright, fine. So
I like the Residents. I think they're great. So anyway, yeah. So they're like a funk metal, alternative metal act. Not the Residents, Primus.
Yeah.
They're like a funk metal, alternative metal act that had a lot of really. They dominated the '90s in alternative metal. They were like huge names, and they had great albums like Frizzle Fry and Selling Seas of Cheese and Poker Face, Pork Soda, which are some of their like most well-known albums, and they're fucking cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
So this album, Primus and the Chocolate Factory, featuring the Fungi Ensemble.
That is true.
That's the full title
Yes.
of it. That's the full title. The Fungi Ensemble, in addition to the members of Primus, it's the two guys. One plays cello, and one's a percussionist. So, with like the xylophone or the marimba, or like just this electric cello, you have this psychedelic, experimental Frank Zappa, Resonance-inspired sort of take on the Willy Wonka soundtrack. Talk about a niche audience.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, okay, so what did you think of it?
I loved it. But then again, it took like 28 listens for me. Independently. I did that.
It's a lot of initiative got going on for you.
Yeah. Well, I loved it because I love the sound. Listen, here's the thing. You can't, when you listen to this, you can't hold Primus to a standard, okay? Of like, oh, I know what Primus sounds like and this will be that. It's really not that. It's still like crazy, wacky, but you're not gonna have like the funk slap bass lines and like the heavy funk metal, alt metal inspired stuff. It's gonna be really out there. It's gonna be kind of atmospheric in places, psychedelic in places. It's gonna be weird, but I love that because I love these songs. You know, I grew up with the Willy Wonka movie. I love the songs that are on it. And all these songs are given this insane twist. I mean, you go insane when you're listening to songs you know.
And I mean, like, I will voice my opinion later on, but I do really have to admit that there is something just kind of like, I don't know, like liberating maybe about hearing Les Claypool sing the Oompa Loompa song. It's like just, wow, you know, like I feel like I've reached something here, you know, and it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, unless you listen to it multiple, never mind. But it's an experience, definitely.
I love Les Claypool, and
I love Les Claypool. So you sound like, you know.
Are you?
Oh God, I know. I say I'm sorry, man. I really don't mean to like come off this way, you know, like in front of your family.
You proud of what you've done?
Not really. I feel like it sounded funnier in my head, and I said it, and I was like, it wasn't that funny.
Yeah. Well, what's done is done now, I guess, right? I said that in the last video, didn't I? Les Claypool and his vocals on the Candyman.
Oh,
that was nuts.
Yes.
I said the Candyman.
The Candyman.
Candyman crackers make someone love. Makes the world taste good. It's like, awesome. It's so weird.
Yes.
Everything is just insane out of left field. Now, here's my other thing though. Being that it's so experimental, if these were songs I didn't know, like if these were original songs, and I was going totally blind into this, I don't think I'd be as into it as I am.
I don't think I will actually like, and I'm not going to get like really meta and be like, well, what is experimental? I'm not going to do that in this video. I can do that in another video. But like, I don't think it was as experimental as you're saying, because I haven't really been following Les Claypool super closely, but of what I've been hearing him do, like sans Primus, he's done a lot of stuff like this. Like, I mean, he's dropped stuff under his own name. He's released stuff with the Holy Mackerel, and like, you know that one song that came out like, I don't know, like 5 years ago, Red State Girl, that was a single?
Yes, I do. I do remember that one, yeah.
That vibe was all through this album.
Yes,
same sort of vibe.
Yeah.
Way less high energy, very low key. Still, like, you know, has that same sort of Les Claypool, Primus feel, but, I mean, like, that's the sort of thing that pervaded the album, you know?
Right, right. Some people are turned off by the lack of energy on this Willy Wonka album. What do you think?
Well, it's not that, because that album that had, I don't remember the name of it, but the one that had Red State Girl, I thought was so cool. I was really into that album, and I love that fucking song. I'm big into Red State Girl. But, no, yeah, I wasn't impressed with this album, and it wasn't the lack of energy. Okay. It was something to do with the composition. I can't really tell you what.
Okay.
But there was not, maybe it's because they were covering a bunch of songs. Maybe it's because they weren't original Les Claypool compositions. Les Claypool and Friends. Because, like, they did have a certain set of limitations when they were composing these or in orchestrating these songs, because I mean they were previously obviously written. So like when you write a song like Candyman or whatever, or Pure Imagination, I mean they're written and there's only so much I can do with it. P.S. Fuck Pure Imagination, because I love that song. They blew it. They blew it big time. They had the same one stupid for like 45 hours, and like after the album, I couldn't do that. I don't fucks with it. Y'all feels me.
Word.
I mean, no, I was really not into it at all, because it had a very steady, I don't know. It didn't, the energy wasn't there, which initially is a turnoff, because I'm turning on a Primus record. You know, I could turn on Stealing the Season Cheese and go ham, but like it wasn't like that at all. And I'm not saying it has to be that way, because Primus has to be Primus and be them, but I mean, if they're not going to do that, make the compositions fucking interesting. And there was not a lot of catch. There wasn't a lot of things that really, I was like, hey, hoo-ha, I catch that, you know, I like that with my ears. I didn't get that much, you know? And I mean, if you're not doing either of those, then I don't know. I mean, I don't even know what they're particularly trying to do.
Okay.
You know?
All right. So then, here's my question.
Show.
Recommended to who?
Fans of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
See, damn it, you took my answer.
I'm sorry.
I was gonna say that because, you know, if you know these songs, like fans of the movie know these songs,
yeah,
listen to it.
Yeah,
just
it's fun.
Hear another take on it.
And I mean, it'll. You just have to listen to Les Claypool sing the Oompa Loompa song. It's awesome. It's great.
And then we could always go with the black and white answers, like, oh, if you like The Residents,
yeah, or like
if you appreciate The Residents artistically,
well,
and what they have contribute. If you like the Velvet Underground, if you want to,
dude, what the fuck?
If you want to have an endoscopy, an endoscopy, like this,
endoscopy.
like.
I had 2 of those when I was younger.
It's nice.
It sucked. Wasn't into it.
Primus and the Chocolate Factory featuring the Fungi Ensemble.
The Fun Guys.
We're D-minus chats, and that's what we think. Hell yeah!
That's what we think.
That's what we think.
Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook.
Get D-minus.
Happened again. It's like
get D-minus.
It's not.
It's an imperative statement.
You've been D-minus.
No, yeah.
Because that's like it's not an imperative. It's just you've been D-minus. It's like a fact.
Yes, yes.
Presenting
like,
that.
this has happened.
Right.
You've watched.
You can't do that. You wouldn't want to do you've been D-minus. You wouldn't do get D-minus. You know, it's like
like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe, get yourself D-minus.
Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, get D-minus. Follow.
Well, no, you don't. It's not.
Like us D-minus. Get it. Wait. Get D.
Are you hungry?
Go to Wendy's.